And hello, everyone.
Hey, hey, hey. What's up, people? Happy Wednesday.
So, we are working on Gur's head today. Previously, we got some of the other parts done, this being the top of Gur's head. So, one thing I've done while I was waiting here, I put this little green mark on there. So, with the little green mark, you just line it up at the edge of your part, and as you roll it across, when you get back to the green mark, you mark your piece again, and you know you got the proper length for diameter. It's an easy way to measure a circle to your piece of material if your material is laying flat at the moment, whether it's fabric or foam or whatever. You need softer material that you're going to be wrapping around something. If you have the round object, you can roll it across, and it's a similar concept to like when you're wrapping a present and you do the flip the present a couple times to make sure you're at the right size. So, boom. So I already put a little mark here. So that's my top height. I am actually going to use my roller and measure that now and match it at the bottom. Because I'm going to cut a straight cut on this first before I go back. 32 3/4. Before I go back, and I will be doing some extras stuff to the bottom later.
Stuff to the bottom.
Because Gur's head isn't actually like straight up a bucket. It kind of curves inward at the bottom here. So Gur's head has a nice little round bottom, so we have to make that somehow. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that, but I have to at least fake that illusion. Also, his head's not the same size at the top as it is even before it hits the bowl shape. So I have to figure that out as well. So it is like basically a cone that comes in and then turns into a bowl. So this is a 3D print I did a Gur that's very broken. His neck broke off in there. His antenna tip broke off.
So he is what he was from the pile that created him originally.
Yeah, trash.
Got a lot of people in the chat. I love it. We got Sacramento Deadpool. We got Tater. We got James Navarro and Siwon. It's been so long since we've seen so many of these people that are in the chat. So long. We miss them all dearly. Bark, 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 bark.
Boom. All right. So we have a straight line now. We need cutting tool. I'm also going to move my clamp to this side so that it stays flat after I cut it. So, when possible, with something like this, where it's going to be a cylinder anyways, what I like to do is this thing naturally has a curve where it wants to go back towards the table right now. You can kind of see it at the ends here, where it's puffing up. This wants to turn back into a tube because it's been rolled up. like this for so long. So when they're rolled up, you get foam, it's like this. So it naturally has a curve where it wants to go back to that circle. You can use that to your advantage. So if you are making an arm piece or a chest piece or something, put that side towards your body. It'll naturally curve towards your body. If you're making like an arm piece and it needs to have like a crown cut into it, put it away from your body and then it will naturally curve away from you and back in and not fight the glue. Because the whole thing there is make your material work with each other so that the glue does not have to work as hard. The less stress you put on a material, the longer it lasts and the better it works. The nice part is this thing I've had on the table long enough now that it will actually stay. I have no clamps. That piece over there would freak
Say
the
Wong,
hell
what
out
are
of
you
me.
guessing?
That part would freak out if I took clamps off right now. But alright, so this will wrap around the head. Another thing I'm going to do is for cylinders, I like to cut a strip. And you can just go the width of a ruler or so. Because cylinders, especially with this thin of a foam, because this is fairly thin foam. I'm not sure the mil on this one. This one's 2 mil. It's probably like 3 or 4. So with something like this where it's fairly thin, you don't have a whole lot of side surface for the two to glue together. So one thing I really like to do is actually do a backer strip so that I can glue this to that, and then when the other one butts up to it, it'll glue to there. In this case, I do have to keep it down this much, so that when this sits in there like that, this can butt right up to the bottom of it. So I have to keep it down just a hair. But Josh, hey, Gur's head's gonna be made of, and Gur's head is basically made out of trash. There's duct tape. This is scrap foam. This is a piece of wire that I literally saved from the trash. This is the top of a chest piece that I think I may have gotten from the trash. This is the first new piece that Gur's head's gotten. Okay. So, how to do this? So whatever the angle I decide, I have to divide by 2 and cut evenly on both sides. Otherwise, when I glue it together, the seam line will be at an angle. Because if you bring 2 angles together, they create a middle seam. If you bring one angle to a straight, then it pulls the whole piece and gets you a lopsided line. It's weird. And your bottom won't be flat. It'll be kind of like kicked off to one side. So you have to divide by 2 and then cut inward from there. Plus I have to come down that far before I can angle it. So I guess my first step is, how far is that far? I'm measuring 8 for 16ths. 16ths. 2, 4, 6, 7 16ths. Alright. So we have to come down 7 16ths.
That might be better to see the above cam if it's linked up.
I can try it. It really is kind of focused in the middle, but you can try it.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure. I can't tell from this angle, so.
Two, 4, 7.
Remember, guys, to always double check your measurements.
Mark there. Mark there. Okay. I like with a pencil, you'll leave a tiny little groove in here, like for something like this, doesn't matter. But it doesn't actually leave color. You have to like catch it in the glare to realistically see that line up there. There's a line all the way across the top. Okay, now I have to figure out if I want to top that size. I don't want to come down from that. I need a minimum of 10 inches for his noggin. Do it on this side. From this side, I need a minimum of 10 in there, which is here. But his big head's probably going to grow, so we'll give him 11.5.
You give him some wiggle room.
So I'll mark at 11.5. Okay. Here's that same hula hoop trick we did before. I'll mark a little green spot on here, but I'm going to do it to the ruler this time. .26 and an 8. So 26 and an 8. And the bigger number is 16th, obviously. 32. And 8, 9, 10, 28. 28 marker. Okay. Five eighths. Okay, so I know my paper is super blown out right now, but now I have to take the dimension of this and subtract it from the dimension of that so that I can get a amount difference that I have to then divide by 2 so I can get my gapping on the bottom, and that will tell us our angle. So if we start with the partial numbers here, you take an 1/8 from 5/8, that's 4/8, and you can reduce that down, so you divide that by 2, making, well, that's a half. So that's a half. That's as far as you're going to be able to reduce 4/8 down, a half. Gotta carry 2, carry the 1. 12 minus 6 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0, so 6.5. So 3 divided by 2 is 3 1/4. Everyone follow that?
I like math lessons.
Huh?
Not fully, but I know I didn't fully.
Did I measure this other side? I don't think I measured out the other side. I don't know what.
Ooh, do it before you start cutting.
We went with 12 inches? I thought we went with a fractional number. Okay, so 12 inches it is. Inches it is. I thought we went with 11 and a half, though. Like it. No, that says 12. Every time I measure again. So. Okay. 12 it is.
That's why we measure twice, guys.
That's why we have multiple rulers. Then you can double check that you are actually on the right marks. Boom, boom. Okay. And our number was got 3 1/4. 3 1/4. So if we come in 3 1/4, that puts us right there. So then what we do is we take, we have our dot there, and we have our mark up here. We go from that mark there, right at where, to that dot there. A long stretch.
Mm.
One. There we go. You cut that little wedge off. And we do the opposite over here. I forgot to. Perhaps I do not have a second 12-inch mark now because I just cut it off. So we will make another one right here. One somewhere over here just for the hell of it. So this 12-inch mark. I'm trying to find my mark. This is the downside of working with pencil and black foam. Right there. Here's 12. 12. And then we come in 3 1/4, which is why we write things down. Put a nice little dot there. we have our dash mark up here. Move the right to the corner edge of. Keeping this in until we hit the dot. Screws look right on up there. Whenever possible, do not lift your blade in a cut. Like, I get it, sometimes it happens, but if possible, try not to lift your blade during the cut because you'll get a nicer edge and you get a nice smooth edge like this has currently versus like these rough rip cuts where that was multiple cuts through. That was like two. You can see the center line where it cut halfway through and then cut again. And it just makes a much easier surface to work with. So this will end up. Oh. Let me think about that part. Okay. Yeah. So I am going to do a little multiply, which is not a big deal.
What are you doing now?
Modifying my design, just like that. So by having those flat spots there, it wasn't lining up properly. So I am removing the flat spots. How I'm doing that is I am squaring up to the point on the bottom and then going to the point at the top. And that leaves this tiny little bit of black you see outside the tape measure, or the roller arming. And then I am dragging the very straight up and down, right up against it to shave off just this tiniest little bit. Also, sharp blades help you keep nice edges. Okay, so that, no, circles like that. So that works because his head kind of slopes forwards anyways. No, did I stretch you to make you reach? Okay, that's fine. Now this is where I got to figure out what I want to do, because I have two options here. I could either find a bowl about the size of this and cut another piece out of this to make like a dish shape, which involves heat gun, as loud and annoying as that can be, or I can make it, I can try to pie cut it. I was kind of wondering if I marked this at a foot down, striped it, could I flip it up and then try to roll this onto a piece of material, trying to get the curve in the bottom here, leaving the hole in the middle for him. Not exactly. So this is for Bruce's Gur costume. This is going to be Bruce's Gur head. So what we're doing is Silver Age. We always do our Marvel meetup, and we are making Bruce a Gur. So it's going to be the robot Gur, but then the outer skin, instead of being green and black, it's going to be red and black. And then I'm also adding the eye diamonds onto the face, but I'm making them like they're part of the fur pattern. This thing reminds me of like one of those Poke hats. Mamma mia. Okay. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna test my concept on a piece of scrap. Downside is that means I'm playing with people. Sorry to anyone wearing it. This is your warning. Turn them down a little. I'm grabbing a bolt. I will be right back. Why don't you talk about what we have coming up on Monday?
Oh, yeah. Guys, we have some cool fun coming up this Monday for you on, let me bring it up here, on How Did You Do That? We are bringing back friend of the show, Odin from Odin Makes. He is going to do a duct tape lightsaber tutorial with us, where you guys can get prepared for Star Wars Day Free Comic Book Day happening pretty soon in a couple of weeks. So we're doing it now because the way our schedule works, we wouldn't have him on in time for you guys to prep. So we're doing it this coming Monday. And if you guys would like to have the materials list, it is right here, right now. You can pause and write it down to get your materials. We will also be posting this on all our social media platforms. So keep that on a lookout. You will need a 40-inch long 3/4 PVC pipe, preferably thin walled. So if you can find that, or you have it lying around the house like we do. 3/4 inch pipe insulation foam cut to 36 inches. Silver/classic gray duct tape for grip. Black tape for accents. Can be gaff, black duck, or electrical, etc. So any kind of black tape. Whatever color duct tape you want your blade to be. And again, we will be doing this Monday, April 20th at 6 p.m. on DeLong Fam Cosplay, only on YouTube. And I think Jeff is back now.
Yep.
And he is heating up the foam to shape it.
This is the nice test piece. I don't want to ruin all that work I did or all that material I have. Oh, what's up, Easy Money?
Wait, is that my bowl?
Yes. It's the big one. But see, that worked actually rather well. I think we're going to do that. So what we are about to do is we are going to glue this thing together real quick. So we are going to start by gluing the top up here to the top of the head, and then we will block it that way. Once we have done that, we will glue the support, the inner support to it, and then we will heat and push this thing down into a bowl. Contact cement is a wonderfully nice thing in the fact that, well, actually, it's toxic as all hell, but it is not great to breathe. You should do this outside. But on the other hand, it sticks foam together wonderfully. Okay, so I'm sure most of you by now have seen me use this stuff and are aware of how to do this. So what it will be is brush on some onto your surface you're trying to work on, put a thin coat on the whole surface you're gluing.
That is the contact cement, correct?
Yes. This is contact cement. I have a preference in brand personally because it is the one that has. First of all, get the stuff with odor. The red can, the odored stuff, works better. The odorless stuff kind of sucks. For lack of a better terminology, it just kind of sucks. It is bad at its job. And what you're going to do is you'll brush this on and you will wait until the sticky goes away. As counter as that sounds, you wait till the sticky goes away. While I'm waiting for it to dry, I need to try to flush that to the top a little, and because this is the inside, I can use Sharpie. Mark what I'm trying to hide. I have no clue where my lip went. So all I did there was I put a little dash mark right at the top. And that's because everything above that is going to be this, because I want to be able to hide this inside instead of having to glue it on top. And I want to do that for two reasons. One is a cosmetic reason, obviously, because, well, it'll just look prettier. Two, the more important one, is it's slightly more structural. By putting it on the inside, it takes this thin wall stuff and gives it something to push against, so that if something pushes on it from the side, it's less likely just to fucking collapse and tear off. Plus, there's a lot more surface for this to glue to this than for that to glue to the top. So, it's a combination of three things here. You get more surface area to adhere to. You're more likely to get a side force than a down force on this thing. So you want to make it stronger for the side forces. Because when you take on and off a helmet, you have a tendency of grabbing the side of your head and lifting. So you want to make that side push stronger. And three, it's just going to be cosmetically more pretty. So you can see here, that's totally not sticky anymore. That's not sticky anymore. Now I can take this and stick it roughly halfway on each one. Starting all at that line. Now once it is pressed on, it is now part of it. That quickly. Those are now one piece. One piece.
One piece.
And that
Which, guys, if you're looking for a lot of one-piece themed clothing, check out grumpycookies.com.
And that will get seamed together like so, mostly focusing on the top side. So I will actually do that. First thing first is starting to glue the top strip on. So sometimes these parts can get weird to glue. So like once I put this top strip on, it keeping the two pieces apart from each other, it's going to be awkward. Because I'll have to glue this piece and the back side of this, but they're going to be like pulled together because they're both in the same spot. And they're going to, but you got to keep them apart long enough for the contact to get ready to be stuck together. Because if you trap wet contact cement between your parts, it won't stick well and it'll not cure. It'll just not
And we
cure.
want things to cure so they come out right.
It'll just never cure up and it'll just be kind of garbage in general. So one thing you can do to make this a little bit easier is I'm going to stop right about here. Just a couple inches from the end. About a finger length from the end. And that gives me a flap so I can hold the flap away. And then I will glue the top at the same time as I glue the seam line going downward. If you can blow on this, carbon dioxide does kind of kick it a little bit. Also, if you notice you have puddles, just go back over it and you can shift it aside. One thing to note, there is a thinner agent within the contact cement. So if you go back over contact cement with more contact cement, you are starting the drying timer over. So, something to note. Also, if you are near anything fuzzy, this stuff will try to capture everything.
Fuzzy.
Okay, we are starting there, and we want to leave, I don't know, something like there. The other nice part of leaving that gap, it leaves me somewhere to put my hand when I'm holding this thing, where I'm not going to be sticky. Because this stuff does leave like this weird tacky feeling on your hands when it cures up on your skin. I'm sure it's not good for you either because you absorb stuff through your skin, so you probably shouldn't. Probably should have gloves on. I'm bad about safety stuff like that, but you should probably do it because, yeah, it's probably better for you.
Do as he says, not as he does. Remember that.
I mean, I'll tell you the right way. I'm still going to do it the wrong way.
No monkey see, monkey do in that aspect.
If you ever been at a con and seen someone's like foam stuff where it's kind of pulling apart and it looks like spider webs in between, this is this stuff right here is how is what you're seeing in there. It's because they put too much there and didn't let it cure before they stuck the two pieces apart, and then when it peeled apart from each other, that's what you're seeing in between them. Let's dry. It's not quite dry. It's still sticky. Okay. So what I'm trying to do here is hide the seam line in the back, which happens to line up right here on the green line. So what I'm trying to do here is simultaneously that bull out my way so you guys can see. And I can see what I need to see. I need to get the top edge lined up flat and start it right on that green piece. And then as I roll this at the edge. And this can be rather difficult and tedious. If you don't get a good camera angle, I am sorry, but I have to be able to see what they do. There is a project that I cannot do on here that I plan on doing, and I plan on recording and putting out either as a video or a reel, because it involves repainting a SpongeBob pistol I picked up. Where the paint job's lackluster, but the concept was immaculate, and it was cheap enough that I was just like, I'm getting it. It's cool. I want it. It's mine.
I think it was because it was his last one. He didn't want to carry it around anymore, so he's like, yeah, that's much.
Jake was the same. I also got that Jake shield behind you, and I got that for still too.
Oh yeah.
So
The stuff I got, it was a steal because I got a nice discount on them, but nothing was really for me. It was mainly all for Bruce.
I also got a Wampa for like 25
Yes,
bucks.
you did get a Wampa.
Vintage Wampa for 25 bucks with Luke Skywalker. Sticky.
Ew. Not on the live.
All right. So, top is combed in. Now is where we're going to get the really good cone shape. What we're going to do is we're going to paint this seam, and then this edge, and then we will pull them together and stick them to each other. And that is when we get that really nice cone shape. And I don't honestly know if I'm going to put the bottom support in. If you put it in afterwards, it'll just be a little bit more difficult. So I think I'm going to leave that until later. Okay. I wonder what that boy is doing currently. I hear Moses.
Mm.
Right, you ain't
Never
gonna see
really a
nothing.
good sign.
I have to do it inside, so it's gonna be I can barely see.
Well, you can talk us through what you're doing.
It is. I'm literally doing the same thing I did on the top to the inside. Put a nice little strip in here so that I can adhere the two to each other. Okay. And then I'm going to take just the slightest dab. I'm going to work it right on that edge. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just covering the edges here. So I know I'm not going to get it all the contact perfectly, which is fine. I can live with, especially seeing this as a costume under a costume. And by that,
So this
I
is
mean
actual the Gur robot part, right?
yeah, this is a robot part. So there's the dog costume that goes over this. This will be fully painted robot status, but Even when he has the freaking hood back, it's behind him and it's not super noticeable. You see the spider webs here, maybe? I got spider webs going in there. There we go. It looks so weird and ridiculous right now.
Yeah, it's like the what are their leaders called again? The tallest.
The tallest have more shield-shaped heads for some reason.
Because they're the tallest.
Okay. Again, headphone warning. Turning on a heat gun. So this is known as heat forming. And you can do this multiple times to the same part. I personally like leaving the bowl cold when I do it because it cools the part down quicker, which means you can stop holding it quicker, pushing on it quicker. We're gonna work in sections here, is what I just learned. We're gonna start with the front section. There we go. See, we're starting to get that roll that we want. I wonder if I can get it better by using the back of Ger's head here.
It is rounder. It might be better.
Give it a crease. I don't know about a roll. It didn't really give it the roll I need. I wonder if I heat the bowl. I don't like heating the bowl, but try heating the bowl. See if that helps.
Warbler?
No, this is just EVA foam. Warbler would move a lot easier and faster than foam does. Also, I'd be less worried about burning it. Because Warbler is a lightweight plastic for anyone that doesn't know.
And we have a question from Senor James. It says, Jeff, have you thought of a prop type project that you can take to a con to enhance your cosplays? Like when you go as Shaggy, a Mystery Machine prop.
Well, I use Shaggy in a different way, but that's one of the benefits of Shaggy. Shaggy actually does have a prop. I have a whole box of Scooby snacks. But a lot of my costumes actually do have props. It's one of the things I actually really like making is props. Costumes have to fit around bodies and they're difficult and stuff. Okay, I like this, how this is curling. I think I need to shorten it first. I think that's where I'm at. I need to cut it off and then curl it.
That way you're not curling too much and having put that time and energy into it.
Okay, so this is going to be fun. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little mark at 13, roll this hair, put a little mark all the way around. And then I'm going to do my best to draw a straightish line around them and try to cut the circle. So far it's something like that. So if I shorten it to 13, I want it at about somewhere between 12 and 11. That should give me the bottom section curling to put me close to 12. Because that's where we want to end up, is 12 to 11 long. So that it fits his head that is currently at like 10. But we want this to fit for a while. That would be preferred. So typically I would not cut something with foam with scissors. I might with this particular cast because of it being on the round. And the difficulty of trying to push a blade through this firmly. And it has no rigidity. By the way, if anyone would like to know how I made the rest of the fur parts, there is a video that we did previously for
that. Okay. Easy Money says, I always wondered who did the auto repair on the Mystery Machine. And James comes back in saying, oh my god, a great Shaggy prop, like a prop 3-foot tall sandwich like Shaggy and Scooby make in the show.
Yep, Shaggy in particular is my I'm trying to get footage and do things costume.
But that might be a good prop when we have a booth or something to put on the table, show off your crafting.
But like that because I could also use multiple skills in that. I can do silicone meat and I can do different things there. But yeah, that particular costume that is Shaggy is mostly meant so that I have free hands. That's its purpose. Although Shaggy did get a new thing that I like to do with Shaggy this weekend.
Yeah.
Shaggy
You want to tell everyone about that?
Shaggy will be dropping truth bombs on characters from now on. I told Cyclops that he needs to stop abandoning his kids. I told Obi-Wan that the high ground's not an excuse to kill his friends. I told Bob from Bob's Burger to stop serving human meat. Trying to think of some of the other ones I did. I was calling out characters on this weekend as Shaggy.
Oh, Doom.
Yeah, I told Doom the star's not that bad, but I did all this in the Shaggy voice. Okay, so now that we've shortened the mask, I think my fat head fits in it. Wow, there's an echoey and boomy in here. Bass. It's like a bass box in there.
I'm all about that bass.
Ooh, it fits so nicely. You got to stir your bowl.
Mix
Stirred
it.
in. You might be able to see where it's getting shiny down here. That's where the heat's hit it. Because what happens is when the heat hits, it melts the top and actually closes the cells, causing all the little imperfections to disappear, and that's why it gets shiny. It's because it's actually creating a gloss. All I'm doing is I'm kind of working this around slowly with minimal, a little bit down pressure, but not a whole lot. I don't want the sides to collapse in. That's how you get a hard crease in there. See, we're starting to get that curl. That's what we want. This time I will heat it from the inside. this up, and then we will work on this again shortly. Okay. I hope that's there.
Oh,
Let's
we're
see.
at 7:01, honey.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh.
This same concept that I'm doing right here, you could use for a lot of costumes. So if you took this little antenna off and you built this would be a perfect base to build Groot's head. You probably wouldn't have to do this part I'm doing currently because his jaw's more squared. You can just put on something like this around the bottom to give you some rigidity. Oh, look at that. See it rounding?
Yeah, I see a slight curve to it. Oh, yeah, when you got it at that angle, I was able to see it much more.
I will probably do a little bit more, but previously we did cut these out. So, may as well show you this real quick. Let me grab a piece of tape. Piece of tape. Electrical tape is a great way to temporarily put something together because it does not stick very well with most objects. So it tends not to leave anything behind when you fill it up. Plus, because it's plastic, basically, it is less likely to shred and peel apart as you pull it off. But you guys start to get the face of Gur going there. They're side by side so far. That's gonna.
I see it.
That's gonna be a very weird view for Bruce.
Yeah.
But I will put that over there, and that over there, and cool up to here. So that will do it for this week's show. Remember, everyone, Monday we will have Odin on to help us make some duct tape lightsabers. And he has made these in the past. He has shown how to make these in the past, but we're going to make our own. And I have something special that he's not expecting that I'm going to do with mine.
What are you doing?
Being extra.
Oh, okay.
But
Normal.
remember, everyone, be a maker, not a hater.
Bye, y'all.